So, how's it been going?
Sales-wise or in general?
In general.
Had a weird week.
Mm-hmm.
There was some sickness involved. I randomly got a part-time gig job, so that was interesting. Did not go into that week thinking that that would happen. Happened very quickly. Yeah, but sickness slowed us down for real. Other than that, kind of busy. I've had a busy couple of weeks. Garden season's full swing, and I've been balancing like my home garden and also the community garden I'm a part of now, and it's just been kind of a lot.
You just keep adding to that plate.
Yeah, well, hopefully the gardening thing like slows down a little bit, because gardening is like really intense up front, and then as the season progresses it's a little less so. So hopefully I can get myself into a routine. But how about you?
Pretty good. Pretty busy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just life in general.
A lot of life in general, and then just other commitments where it's like, yeah, we should go do that. We should go spend 12 hours and watch all the Lord of the Rings movies in the theater.
What a time commitment that is.
Time commitment was worth it. It was
it's like a part-time job watching Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
Basically.
But aside from that, just busy in general.
Late spring and summer is hard. It's hard. And I think it doesn't help that we live in Michigan, because you have to cram so much into just a few months.
The nice season.
Yeah. Because, I mean, winter, unless you're an outdoor person, it's out. Like, so many things you just can't even do in the winter at all here. And then spring is like, maybe it's going to be nice, maybe it's not. And then summer's usually kind of hot. So that's when you can do your swimming and all that fun outdoor stuff. And then fall again is a little bit of, is it going to be nice, is it not? And then you're right back into winter again. So I feel this way, like spring and summer goes really fast in this state. And I don't know if other people, I'm sure other northern states feel this way, and northern countries that are northern, but I don't know I wonder if southern people feel that way, or if they feel like the nice winter goes faster, or what it is, you know what. But
that would be interesting.
I just feel like we have to cram. Put down below if you live in a state that's not in the north, or a country that's not in the north. Do you have a season that you feel flies by? Because we feel, I think it's a common feeling that like you are just cramming stuff in all summer long.
Yeah, because it's either you want to hang out with these people, you want to hang out with these people, you want to go camping, you want to go hiking, you want to go to the beach.
If you want to go to the beach, you got maybe 3 months. Like that's when it's hot enough to be in a swimsuit at the water. Yeah. Especially when you're talking Great Lakes, because they don't get warm. No. So like you can't squeeze in that last like dip, because the water itself is really cold.
Or you go on the one weekend when everyone's there and it's like
crammed.
Well, why even go in?
Yeah. So I think here that's a really common sentiment, that people are just feel like they're cramming in week after week after week. And we personally have birthdays. When we're filming this, Father's Day is coming up for those who observe that, and so we got a birthday this month, we got a birthday next month, we got a birthday the month after that, plus all the regular summer stuff. So crazy time of year. But we're here to talk about eBay.
Yes.
How have your sales been lately?
Pretty good.
Have they?
Pretty good.
Ours have been so slow. But we sold a few good things recently.
I've been seeing it slower overall. But I've been listing more, and just because I've been listing more, I've been selling every day. Like, I sell at least one thing a day.
Oh, that must be so nice. We do not.
But I'm listing like 5 to 10 items a day.
Yeah, you are listing
and more. So, but by just that, it's going to be happening. But in comparison to previous months, like, you would think I'd be selling more just because of the quantity being listed. And I'm just not seeing that. And
it's slow. I don't know what it is.
I think it's just this time of the year.
Yeah, maybe it's that all these people that are cooped up all winter like us are now cramming their life full of things.
Yeah, they're spending their budget on going and doing stuff and not on items. So
I think we have actually been pretty good on our goal. It's June now, and so we have been doing 2 a day. We're trying to ramp up. So May we did 1 a day. June we're trying to do 2 a day. The aforementioned illness did slow us down though, and there was a day, at least one day, that we did not meet that goal, and then it might have even been a couple days where we didn't quite meet that goal, but I think at least one. But we're trying to get that 2 a day, and I'm hoping 3 a day for July to really try to ramp up into a really consistent listing. And we have plenty of stuff to do that, and it's prime sourcing season, so I don't anticipate having. Hannah's like, as long as we have enough. I'm like, you don't worry about that. I will worry about getting. You will have enough stuff.
So it's honestly, I've been thinking about it more. It's really easy to get stuff to sell.
Mm-hmm.
Because in between, let's just take the bins and Goodwill out of the equation.
Mm-hmm.
Even just Facebook Marketplace, or if it's not summer and nobody's running a garage sale, there are so many other places where it's like you can go and buy a storage unit that's being shut down. You can go on Craigslist and look up free stuff. Sourcing, I find, especially being as I'm just shotgunning and I'm selling everything and anything, so easy.
Yeah, I mean, we do have a little more niche.
Mm-hmm.
We do sell like stuff outside of the. I would say we have 2 or 3 niches. We've talked about this before, and we do sometimes sell things outside of that, but it is what it is. We did sell a couple of good things though this week. We came off a really kind of a dry spell, and then we sold 3 really decent things all at once. We sold a Presto pressure canner from like the 70s. It was Harvest Gold pressure canner. Hopefully it made it okay, or hopefully it will make it okay. We sent it out this week, and we paid a lot for that one. I think we paid $36. I found it at Salvation Army. It was expensive.
That's really high for you.
It is, but we sold it for $100, and so we profited like $40 when it was all said and done. $100 plus shipping. They paid shipping, so we profited in the $40 range, which we over doubled our money on that one. So high item. Took up a lot of space because this thing, I think it was a 21 quart, and so it was like this big. It was humongous. So that sold this week, so that was really awesome. We sold a.
How did you ship that? UPS ground? Or?
I sent it UPS.
Yeah.
Yep. Ground Advantage was going to be probably. I think it cost less than $20 actually UPS, and I think Ground Advantage was closer to 38.
Yeah.
Something crazy. So hopefully they're fine with that, because I was not gonna. They buyer selected Ground Advantage, but they only paid $25 or something. So I'm like, no. Yeah. Then we sold a fondue pot, which sounds weird, but it is summer. That's going to Hawaii, so I really hope that makes it safe. Someone's gonna be having some fondue on the beach probably, or overlooking the beach. Lucky them. It was a Le Creuset. So cast iron fondue pot. It had a couple of imperfections, but it was a really sturdy. Like the pot itself was cast iron, and the base was cast iron. So it was a heavy one, but a good quality item. And I think we sold that. I think I found it for like $5 plus tax, and we sold that one for like $45, I think. So we made the 20 to 30 range on that.
Yep.
Which is nice because, like I said, we've had kind of a dry spell. And then I think you saw. Did you see the Waterford Crystal Brandy Snifter goblet that we had that I got at the bins? We sold that.
Nice.
For $32 plus shipping. So
you got that at the bins. So.
I got that at the bin, so that was 20-some plus profit on that too. So pretty good. 3 solid items. And then we sold just the other day. I don't know if you're familiar with Courier knives.
A little
bit. Like a patterned dishware.
I've heard about them.
So we had a creamer and sugar set, and we broke the handle on the sugar or the creamer pot. Accidentally, we broke the handle, and we decided we weren't gonna fix it. It was a fairly clean break. Well, we just list it and see if anyone wanted it. And the day it went up, we sold it for $10.
Hey.
Set. So it's gone out of our hair, and someone had given me the set of Courier knives a long time ago, several years ago, and so it is what it is. That $50 was ours. So I think those
it's
were
better
good.
than it going into the trash.
Yep.
It gets you a little bit of profit.
Yep. And it was good. It was good to see those nice sales because, and I think this will come out after the May in review comes out. May was kind of abysmal for us. Really bad. And even that's with us consistently listing. And maybe it's the things we listed, but I think it's a little bit of that like slow thing. And then I also have the theory that we pulled several things out of our, and when I say several, I feel like 40 to 50 items for the garage sale.
Oh, wow.
And so our total active listings took a big dive. I think we were closer to 300 and now we're closer to 250. So even though we've been listing. So I think that may have affected our traffic a little bit, on top of it being May and June and people are just blossoming now because it's warm all over.
Another thing, open houses. So lots of
tapped out money.
Lots of extra money
weddings
going away. Yep.
Lots of expensive things this season. So
there's quite a lot that you delisted though.
Yeah, some stuff's going back up, but we have to double check, make sure it's in the right condition, or some things we need to alter the alter the listing a little bit on, or whatever. So we need to go through some of that. We have not recovered from the garage sale we had yet, which is horrible because it's been several weeks now. And so some of that stuff still needs to come back in and then we can adjust it. And that segues into something I wanted to talk to you about today. What are some lessons learned and mistakes made? Because one of them came up, worst case scenario kind of situation after our garage sale. And this is one of the worst mistakes we've made as resellers, and I was worried it was going to happen, and it freaking happened anyway. We sold something at the garage sale and then sold it on eBay. And so I'm not sure what happened. I don't know if I accidentally never took it down, or if I accidentally relisted it after I delisted it, thinking we still had it, or if something like goofed and it relisted itself. But I'm thinking it's one of the two, one of the first two. I either took it down and forgot we sold it, because it sold. We were in a community garage sale, which I think I had mentioned on here, but I definitely had told you that we were in a community garage sale. And so Hannah and I went garage sailing for a couple hours during our garage sale. I wasn't here when it was a kettle. When it sold, I wasn't the one to write it down. And I went through the list, and I thought I went through the list and like delisted everything that sold, because we kept notes what sold for the business. Oh, so you left stuff on your inventory as it was sitting in the sale? Some of it we did and some of it we didn't. But definitely after the sale was over, because there was a gap between it selling and the garage sale. Definitely after it was over, I know I went through that list because we wrote what was on there, and there was, sure enough, the kettle's on there. And I thought I cross-checked and took everything, made sure everything was off. So I don't know if my brain just like farted. Based on that one. Yeah, and I relisted it thinking, oh, I've seen that recently, because I wasn't the one to sell it. So I didn't like register in my brain that it was gone, and I knew I had seen it recently. Because sometimes like I know I've seen something, but I can't tell you what the timeline is. I don't feel like that. But well, I had something like that recently. A couple weeks ago, I did some sourcing, and I saw something, and I'm like, oh yeah, I've seen one of these before. They sell pretty decently. And I bought it at the garage sale, and then I get home. That's where I saw one. I have one sitting in my to list pile. Oh no! So you had either one. So now I have two of them, which isn't a problem, but it was just, I get it. Yeah. So I don't know where that went wrong exactly, but it was very annoying, and the person was very upset, even though it wasn't that nice. It was like a copper kettle, but it wasn't a high quality one. Wasn't in perfect condition. And I thought we had it, and I accepted the offer on it. And then I had to tell them when it came down to ship, I had to tell them, sorry, it was our mistake, and we refunded your money. They were mad. Yeah. And then I responded again, and it seemed like I had kind of like de-escalated the situation, and then a couple days later a negative review pops up. Yeah. And my approach on that was I went under the negative review and I said, this is accurate. Due to a mistake on our part, we had to cancel this buyer's order. They were refunded and an apology was issued as soon as we realized the issue. Because they were like, they canceled my order after I paid, or something, like making it sound like we didn't cheat you at all. We canceled it completely. Was when we found out. I messaged you and apologized at that time. I even told them to, because they said I had promised it to somebody else, and I told them, like, blame us. Like, it was our, it's an accident. We're human. Like, it happens. So anyway, that was our first negative review.
Shame. Stupid
issue. Except for what's hilarious, after that negative review, like, 3 or 4 more, like, positive reviews rolled in, like, right after that. So Hannah and I took great joy in the rolling in of
another thing,
reviews.
If a customer does something like that, does leave you a bad review, you could always appeal to eBay. You get 5 appeals a year.
Oh, do you?
Yeah. So, and they can review that case and go, and scrub it. But it's case by case basis.
Yeah, it was fair that there was a negative review because the mistake was on us.
Yep.
But it was not very gracious or generous on the person's part, because we were not rude about it, and I did apologize as soon as it was an issue. It gets refunded.
I had a customer recently like that. Not a mistake, but it was more like I listed a pair of headphones, and it says in the description and in the item category, the features, that it's a wired headset. It requires the standard headphone jack. Well, the customer was mad that they were wired. He's like, who buys wired headphones nowadays? And I'm like,
plenty of people.
You're buying headphones that were made in 2007. I don't know what to tell you. And he wanted me to refund him $4 of the $7 purchase. And I was like, no. I had them listed for $20.
You have photos and a listing. Read.
Yeah, and that's the thing.
That's completely unfair.
I told him the only reason I would give him a refund is if he sent the item back.
Yeah.
And he didn't want to do that. So he left me a neutral review. And then stated that this seller has shady practices. And I'm just
bull crap. Are you going to appeal it?
I considered appealing it.
Because that's unfair. He didn't look at the listing.
I might just do what you did and go and actually reply and be like,
this is what actually happened.
Yeah, because customer was weird too. They kept messaging me, like, being like, you know that I collect headphones. I'm like, you never said that in any of this. I don't know what you're talking about.
Is this person delusional? Wow, they might actually have a mental problem.
I don't know. It felt like he knew what he was doing, because if he does...
Like he was a scammer and trying to get money off all the time?
That's what it felt like.
I've not run into any
I ended up
people.
blocking him as a customer, which I haven't done before, but it was just, he kept messaging me being like, this is unfair. How is it that you're selling... Who's buying wired headphones? Like, that was his big issue. And it was just like, I don't even
Who doesn't
know what
look
to
at
tell
photos
you.
and read a listing before you purchase
Right.
it? That's what I would want to say. It's not what I would say, but
Right.
I would probably say, we have
I
photos
was
to
just
show
like,
this.
I gave you a massive discount on the item, because that was the whole thing too. I had them listed for $20 plus shipping.
Mm-hmm.
His first offer he sent me was $2.
Oh, come on.
And I was like, no. I just hit the decline button. I didn't even send a counter offer. Then he sent me another offer, $4. So then I hit him with a counter offer of like $16, and he kept being like, bringing it lower, and I eventually was just like, you know what, for $7.50, sure. And that's what I really think it's all about. He really wanted to get him for that $4 price point, and because he didn't get him for that,
so now he's trying to complain and tell you to refund. What a scam.
And that's why I think he left me a neutral review and not a negative review. It was so weird. But I'm glad I stood my ground and told him, listen, the only reason I'm going to give you a refund is if you send them back.
Yeah.
Because had I just given him the refund, he would have...
I wouldn't have given a refund anyway, because it's just not...
Yeah. And it would be one thing
unfair.
if I had mistitled or misdescribed it, or said in there, yes, they're wireless, and then it turns out they weren't.
It wasn't a mistake, it was him being ridiculous.
Yeah, he didn't read it. Like, it says it plainly in two different situations.
The photos probably show the cord on there.
So I don't know. But anyway, as for mistakes, big mistake with electronics, you have to make sure they work. You have to open up that battery compartment and like, yes.
What happened?
I sold, what are they called? Connects. Do you know?
I've heard of them.
Yeah.
They're like, you can like build things and make motorized.
Yeah. So I had a big box of them, and I didn't feel like parting it out. So I just bundled them all up, took pictures, got it listed, moved on with life. I never tested the motors. I never opened them up. Customer got them. They were like, hey, these are all corroded. I gave them a big refund. They were happy. I was still happy because they gave me a good review. And it was like, cool, move on with life. But it's just one of those little things. Had I done the research and actually, it would have literally taken me 2 minutes to do. And I think the only reason I passed on it was I was being lazy that time. And I was just going, I'm selling it as a big lot. Move on. And because of that, it cost me $10.
I think if I were doing that, because we have listed things that we have maybe not tested adequately. I just say we have not tested it. I cannot guarantee it's being sold as is.
Yeah, and that's one thing I could have
cover
done.
My butt.
Because I have sold a lot.
Though we do test most things.
Yeah, I have sold a lot of things untested. I've sold. In fact, it was funny. The same week that I sold the headphones, and then the guy was all butthurt about them, I had sold, and I listed those as untested as is. I sold a laptop untested as is. That customer gave me a great review. I sold.
So you were lucky up until the connect.
Well, it was just one of those things that I didn't even consider to put as is or whatever because it was just like, it's a bunch of toys. And I should have done that one extra step. It would have taken me 5 minutes to do at most. Or even I could have cleaned them myself because it's not very hard to
like alcohol or vinegar or whatever to clean the nodes.
Another thing, which I did this earlier this week, I was very busy, and at one point I said, "Great, 11 o'clock at night, time to pull on my orders." And one of the things I sold was a Craftsman socket wrench. I had listed 2 socket wrenches.
Dang it, you pulled the wrong one, didn't you?
I pulled the wrong one and I shipped it, and I didn't realize it till the next day when I was putting other stuff away into my listed inventory, and I saw that other socket wrench, and I said, frick, I gotta mail that out right now and send a message to the customer. And thankfully the customer was very understanding, very gracious, but it went from being like a $12 profit to a $1.80 profit.
That sucks.
So it's just one of those things, and I'm working on my inventory as it is to get it to a point where things are organized when they're put away once they're listed online. And the only reason it wasn't in the right spot, they were in the pile of this stuff needs to be taken out and put away. So that's my own big mistake. But thankfully, gracious customer was like, I get it. Thanks for the honesty. And I just told him, you get to keep the other socket wrench. It's on me. So
he's not going to be mad about that, probably.
No.
I think I think the mistake I just told you about was probably our worst one. One time we did break something and had to cancel it. It happens. Like, they were not mad about it or whatever. We just said, hey, sorry it broke when we were packing, and we had canceled it. And that's one thing I think kind of sucks about being in resale the way we're doing it, is we have so many items that are one-off, and we have no replacement to send. If you have, like, I worked for like a carnivorous plant company, and if the plant arrived dead, You just send out a different plant.
Yeah.
No big deal. And with the way we had one like break in shipping, and they're like, we gotta send a new one out right away. I was like, sorry, we only have the one. We had the handle break off a mug in shipping, and we're like, we can't. So we offered them a couple of different options for resolution, and it worked out okay. But that's annoying about that. So like when we had sold the kettle at the garage sale and then it got bought, I could have offered a discount on something else, I guess, which I didn't do, but I could have. But I couldn't send you a replacement copper kettle because that's all I had.
It's not like you have 17 in the back.
Yeah,
ready for
exactly. And so when we
shipment,
broke the one, same issue. I had to just tell them sorry, and we canceled it. That one was no fuss. They didn't care that much, I guess, because there was no negative review or like words exchanged or anything. And we ended up relisting the single by itself, and it sold pretty quickly after that as a replacement. But I think our second biggest mistake was one time, this was sometime last year, it was earlier on in our reselling, because we're what, a year and a month and a half or something now. So this was way last year sometime, I don't remember exactly when, but we accidentally, I think, printed the wrong label. I think I ended up printing the same label twice or something. Anyway, I sent a scarf to the wrong customer, and I didn't realize it till after we had dropped it in the mail. Yeah. And so we lucked out so hard. So I contacted the person and explained why we couldn't get it shipped out, and that, you know, it was, I think I ended up canceling it or something. And then I contacted the person who was going to and said, hey, this happened. Can you just reject it? And they were really nice, and they returned it to sender. We got it back. Nice. I contacted the person that bought it, and I said, hey, if you're still interested, we have it back in our possession. We will give you it for a half off. Yeah. Because it was just a scarf we had gotten at an estate sale or the bins or something. It wasn't like we had a lot of money in it. And we're just like, if you still are interested, we'll give you a huge deal.
Give them a good discount, make them happy.
And she was happy. She was just excited to get it. She just wanted the scarf. So it all worked out in the end, but that was one of the biggest things. It's one of those things like, crap, you have no control, because you realize your mistake, but you realize that after it's already in the mail system somewhere. And so we lucked out with that one, and it all worked out, and it had got sent to the wrong person, because they were really nice and helpful about it. But I would say those are my two biggest mistakes: selling something we already sold and sending something to the wrong person. Yeah. And that's both things to learn from there. Be very careful. Check twice and 2 and 3 times. And if you're going to sell stuff in your garage sale, make sure it's not listed on eBay and doesn't get relisted on eBay. Yeah. So hopefully I went through the list after that happened, paranoid, and made sure that everything else I need Hannah to go through it again to double and triple check, because we also sold all of our remaining print blocks. So we had all those listings up too. So hopefully those are all gone. I tried to go through our whole list to like make sure. And there were a couple of things after that happened that I took down because I was paranoid that like the condition wasn't the same or whatever. And so I was just like, whatever. When we pull it back in from the garage, we'll relist it. But do you have any other like big mistakes or lessons that you've learned?
Not specifically.
How long have you been reselling at this point? Like seriously?
Seriously, just about a year, you know, give or take. Not including, if you count magic, years. But everything else, about a year, give or take. I think I started doing it February last year, where it was like, I'm just going to sell everything and anything. And I'm kicking myself because I didn't start doing that sooner. And then there were other things where it's just like, when you're going to source stuff, certain items, totally worth it, or worth the gamble. Just make sure, I wouldn't gamble too much on some items, but that's all down to the preference of whoever's buying it, because there are things I put in the garage sale where it's like, I bought this to sell online. And after looking it up, it's like, it's not worth my time to even list this on eBay, because it sells for $4.99 free shipping, or $4.99 and plus the shipping, and only one sold in the past 3 months or whatever. So, but yeah, it's fun.
Yeah, I think my big takeaway, and this isn't just from reselling, but like a lesson to learn is like every time there's an issue, like pull something from that that's helpful. Like it sucks when things crop up that you can't control, or you make a mistake and it screws with your screws with your money, it screws with like your customer service and everything. I mean, you can still handle a bad situation well, but it doesn't make it not a bad situation. And so I think just learning from each little issue that you have, and what can you take from the situation. Okay, I could be more careful in this area next time, or we can pack a little bit better, or whatever. Like I think there's always something to like take from those issues.
And overall, as a customer, if I was a customer and I was looking at my eBay store, and they canceled because they broke that item, that's annoying. I'm not going to buy from them. And that's just one of those things you got to keep in mind when you are being productive. But we're all people. We're all going to make mistakes.
Yeah.
It's just one
I
of
think
those
the
things.
glass that broke, it like was in the box and it fell over and then it snapped. So I don't know if it had a flaw or something.
And I just had those, what were they called? The Tech Deck skate park stuff.
Oh, you were
break in the
telling me
mail.
about that in the mail, yeah. We've had one thing break in the mail. A handle broke off a mug. One thing break when we were packing it. I think that's it. And that's amazing because we send, watch, I'm going to stick my foot in my mouth. When we shipped out, probably it's going to crack. Oh, I hope not.
You're going to see viral footage of mail guy just stomping on a box. And then your customer's going to be like, my box was smashed.
File a claim with the USPS on that one. But we've shipped a lot of breakable things, and I'm always thankful for the customers that leave us a positive review, particularly when we are shipping a breakable item, because we've had several reviews where people came in and said, very well packaged. One even said it took me a little while to get them apart because we had shipped like Courier and Ives bowls, like it was a set of bowls, and I had them like bubble wrapped and I had them like taped together this way and then bubble wrapped again because I was so paranoid of them breaking.
That's a good problem to have though, if you're getting stuff, especially breakables, because that.
Yeah. Yep. So I'm always thankful when a customer takes the time to leave a positive review, especially one that contains like helpful content like that. Hey, these people know how to pack breakables, so don't worry about ordering that glass from them or whatever. But yeah, I think that's just the big lesson, is just learn from all these little annoying.
Yeah, and just because you have
mistakes, we are human. We're gonna make them.
Just because you have one negative review doesn't mean it's gonna be a lasting impact.
Yeah, I think we have 149 positive to the one negative and 0 neutrals. So yeah, it was Hannah and I were reveling in the fact that like immediately after the negative one was posted, like 3 positives came in, and then a day or two later another positive straggled in. So we're like,
which is great, because
Hannah's like, keep it on coming, push that down.
Because eBay, it's so hard to get those reviews because people just generally don't care. So just having that is
maybe it was like, maybe we're lucky because we do send breakables, and maybe that kind of thing encourages people more, because I think it's probably a common issue to have ordered breakable things and then be smashed by the time they get there. So maybe that encourages, because we have a lot of reviews that are to that tune, you know. But have you sold anything interesting? This is kind of off topic, unless you had another mistake or lesson you wanted to glean from all this. But basically, we just are all going to make mistakes, so just take what you can from them and try to do better next time.
Yeah. And try to be courteous with your customers.
Have you sold anything interesting lately?
Most interesting, or most profitable, I would say. I sold a Game Boy game.
Okay.
Tailspin.
Like the TV, like the Disney TV
Disney
show?
TV show. $130.
Holy crap!
Because I had the box and the manual.
Where did you get that?
A buddy of mine gave it to me. So.
Tailspin.
Yeah. And then I sold a Boy Scout patch for $100. So.
Was it old?
Not really. From 2012.
Why was it so valuable?
It's Halo themed.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So it was a blip in time, basically.
Yeah, basically. And I had
limited run, probably.
I had it listed for $150 because there was none listed, none sold. It's very niche. The story I heard about it when I first acquired it was at the Boy Scout Jamboree, and Microsoft found out about these patches and they sent people to confiscate them.
Oh, so there aren't too many out there.
That's what I heard. No idea if it's legit. I could not find anything about that online, either when I acquired it, and that was back in, 2012 or whatever, or now when I was trying to do the research to be like, I want to list this. Couldn't find anything about that. No idea if that was true or not.
But either way, it was probably a very limited run thing.
Right. And so I listed it for $150. I'm like, if anybody sent me an offer over $80, I'll be happy. Somebody sent me an offer of $75. I thought about taking it, and I just hit him with a counter offer, $100. And it was not 30 seconds later.
Yeah, they wanted it. They were just
I was like, awesome. I'll take it.
You met him in the middle.
Yeah, and that was the thing. And I think I traded for it back, like I said, in 2012 or whatever. I probably traded like $40 worth of stuff, other Scout patches, and it's been sitting around doing nothing. So that was cool.
Nice.
Very weird, niche.
Yeah.
Specific.
It's got to be a collector.
And it was just like that. That was neat. That was cool. Will I ever see something like that again? Probably not, but you know.
Yeah, there'll be something else interesting out there. We sold, which is kind of funny. I don't know if I talked about them on here, but I had picked up at the Goodwill bins because, like I said, I try to I am not gonna fight.
Yeah.
At the bins, I am not gonna be in that part of that aggression. I'll look at the new bins if it's not too inconvenient or there's no one crowding me out or anything. But I'm often looking at the stuff that is being ignored, or I'm checking through the old bins just to see what's still there. And I had picked up, you saw them, the wool round seat covers.
Yeah.
We sold those on Etsy.
Oh, nice.
For $65.
Wow.
Yeah.
For like the lot of
For all
them?
5, yeah. So I was pretty happy with that. They sold pretty fast, we hadn't had them very long. I think, we might have had to comp shipping on that. That might have been a free shipping item on Etsy, but either way, it was really good. We only paid a few bucks for them at the bins. Yeah. So that was an interesting thing, and I'll put a picture up here of what they look like. But I thought they were kind of cute, little grandma core, cottage decory.
Did you actually put grandma core?
I did. It was actually a slightly older woman though, I think, that bought them, but they'd be cute for summer. Maybe she has cafe chairs or something they're gonna go on. I don't know. But she left us a positive review on Etsy too, so nice. She's happy. We're happy. I'm glad I picked them up. Yeah. So don't underestimate the power of the weird stuff at the bins. You just never know. Tons of people overlook this stuff. They probably would have literally gone to the trash if someone like me had not come by and picked them up, because it was the bins. So last stop, basically. But that was the cool thing. Besides the things we sold earlier, those were pretty cool. I was glad to see the Presto leave and all those kinds of things. Hannah was too, because of the space problem. But when I saw it at the Salvation Army, I had to buy it. I couldn't. I just thought it was too cool, and I thought it would sell. So I'm glad to know it did. But anyway, did you have anything to add?
No.
All right.
I think that's
We're cutting it. You guys, thank you so much for joining us again this week. We'll be back next week with another episode. Please like and subscribe and leave us comments. Let us know what lessons you guys have learned from your time reselling. Thank you, and happy thrifting.
See ya.
Bye.